The Truth in Lending Act is one of the most important consumer protection regulations around today. It's extremely relevant to the mortgage industry, and as far as the SAFE exam is concerned, it is one of the 4 most heavily tested regulations. Now, the purpose of the video is to give you, the SAFE exam candidate, an idea as to how to properly study the Truth in Lending Act to avoid having to read the almost 1,400 pages that make up this document. So I'm not going to give you the specifics, but I am going to give you an overview of how you can most efficiently and effectively prepare for this exam to avoid having to study all of that material, because most of it is unnecessary. If you want specific information and a lesson on the Truth in Lending Act in greater detail, please see the comments, because I will include a link through which you can access an actual Truth in Lending Act training video that gives you the information that I'm just going to give you an overview of today. So here's what you need to know in order to properly prepare you for what the SAFE exam is going to test you on when it comes to the Truth in Lending Act, or TILA. Purposes and origins, coverage and applications, exemptions, definitions, disclosures, document retention requirements, and then there'll be some general miscellaneous stuff that I will itemize for you shortly. So the purpose of the Truth in Lending Act is threefold. Number one, to disclose the credit's terms and cost to the consumer, the overall terms and costs. Unlike the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, which requires the disclosure of the itemized costs, the Truth in Lending Act requires the disclosure of the overall cost for comparative shopping purposes. It also establishes the right of rescission. Certain loans have a 3 precise business day right of rescission, where any party to the transaction can cancel the transaction even though it already closed. And then it oversees advertising. The Truth in Lending Act was implemented via Regulation Z as in zebra. You can remember that by thinking about Attilasaurus, or TILA, the Godzilla, and it was enacted in 1968. There are 4 loan scenarios covered by the Truth in Lending Act and 3 creditor applications. There are 7 exemptions with which you should be familiar. Definitions, I'm going to go over those with you, but I'm not going to give you the definitions because we just simply don't have that much time. But I'm going to show you the definitions, read them to you, and then you'll have a record of what you need to prepare and understand definitional wise. But I am going to show you a list of them so you'll have an idea of what you need to know for testing purposes. And I will also give you the opportunity at the end to email me for another resource. So disclosures, document retention requirements, and then general miscellaneous. So here are the definitions with which you need to be familiar. Act, advertisement, application, billing cycle, bureau, business day, both general and precise, card issuer, card holder, cash price, closed-end credit, consumer, consumer credit, consummation, credit, credit card, credit sale, creditor, down payment, dwelling, open-end credit, periodic rate, person, prepaid finance charge, residential mortgage transaction, security interest, state, and successor in interest. And again, at the end, I will discuss another means of getting an additional resource that goes over all these definitions. It gives you the definition of the definitions. There are 5 disclosures associated with the Truth in Lending Act, and not only should you know where they are, you should be familiar with their issuance requirements as well. The Consumer Handbook on Adjustable Rate Mortgages, or CHARM booklet, pertains to closed-end adjustable rate mortgages. The initial ARM program disclosure, also applicable to closed-end adjustable rate mortgages. The notice of right of rescission or right to cancel, high-cost loan disclosures, and higher-priced mortgage loan disclosures. TILA document retention requirements establish timeframes through which mortgage lenders and brokers must retain any TILA-related document associated with the loan, documents pertaining to MLO compensation, the loan estimate, and the closing disclosure must be retained for certain specific periods of time as well. Now, here are the general and miscellaneous concepts. Annual percentage rate. You should thoroughly understand what an APR is, a finance charge as well. Both represent the cost of originating the loan, the APR being a percentage and the finance charge being a dollar amount. You must understand how right of rescission works. You must understand TILA's advertising, the reason why we cannot, as mortgage professionals, interact directly with appraisers. You need to know about that. Adjustable rate mortgage oversight, very important and certainly a test-worthy subject. The Mortgage Disclosure Improvement Act and what that brought consumers, the protection that brought consumers. Higher price mortgage loans and high cost mortgage loans, absolutely need to be familiar with those as well. Very important. And again, the resource that you can get through the link in the comments will give you the specifics on everything you need to know when it comes to HPML and HOPA, prohibited acts and practices that a mortgage servicer must respect, and then rules surrounding MLO compensation. These are all of the concepts within Truth in Lending Act with which you must be familiar. Now, if you want the resource for the definitions, send me an email at this email address, and I will be happy to send you a link towards where you can access not only those definitions, but the definitions. And then again, if you're interested in the video where I go over the specifics of what you need to know, that is in the comments. So hope that helped. Good luck.